Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
'Well, hello again, and welcome to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio, broadcasting from the unceded Musqueam Territory at the University of British Columbia, 101.9 FM, CITR.ca online. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
And I'm Zachary Musnarmer.
And tonight's show is a LA Whitecaps post-game show. Yep, we're going to talk about the great game that we had during the week, but sadly only for a couple of minutes. Then we have to talk about whatever the hell that was this afternoon at BC Place. I'm still not really sure. I'm all for just talking about Game of Thrones for 2 hours, but I don't think you guys have had a chance to watch it yet.
No, not yet. Because I'm stuck in Vancouver, decided not to go back to over the border.
Yeah.
By border, do you mean river?
River, border, bridge.
You didn't want to go back to the Fraser Valley?
No.
No, nobody does.
Nobody does. No. I don't, and I live there.
Disappointing.
Oh, to say the least.
Is a nice word for it.
It was a little embarrassing. It
yes.
felt like to lose to that side with that starting 11 with maybe you can explain. I haven't been able to read too much yesterday or today, but how did they bring in some of those players to their team? Like
when you have just 14 players on your bench, you're allowed to bring up some emergency loans. So they had available players, had 14 available players. Actually, they had 15 available players, but 3 of them were goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So they only had 14 available players. So there are 11 and 3 on the bench. So that lets you bring in emergency loans. We had an emergency loan. Spencer Ritchie was an emergency loan.
We've seen with keepers before,
yeah.
but we've never seen it with players.
But I've never seen this many
players.
unavailable players due to suspension, injuries, and international duty.
One of the call-ups did get a few minutes at the end.
Yeah.
He's a dirty bugger. It's like he should have had 2 bookings, I think, in the few minutes that he was on the pitch.
That was a shove.
Shoving Tim Parker.
Yes, that was right in front of me.
Yeah, then there was an elbow thrown as well. It's like, I'd have sent him off. But then at the same time, I would also have gone down and said to Valeri, "You've got a concussion, mate. You can't go any further."
Yes, we don't play goalie. I mean, doctors on the sideline, but I wish we did.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's kick things off with a little bit of happier things. We won a game midweek against LA. We're not going to talk too much about that, but it was
a professional win.
Yeah, it was what I felt was a turning point.
Yeah,
because you've gone down. Yeah, LA are a pile of crap this year. No other words for it.
It's still not easy.
I think the word you forgot was steaming.
But it's still not easy to win down there.
It has been for every other team bar one this year.
Yeah. But not for the Whitecaps, no matter whether they play.
We have struggled down there. We only had 1 win. We didn't have Darren Mattix to carry the team on his back to get us over the line. I was a little bit concerned.
Well, he didn't get us over the line. It was Kakuta who got us over the line in the past.
Yeah.
Well, according to Darren, it was Darren.
Oh.
Even after he left, yeah. I mean, he did well today. He got Jamaica into a Gold Cup final.
Absolutely amazing.
I will have some Gold Cup chat in the later part of this show. But let's just quickly go back to LA. It was a workmanlike performance. I actually felt they should have had more than a 1-0 win.
Yeah, and the thing is it was great because they had the performance before New York. Against New York on home, and then they essentially had 2 weeks off. Were you expecting them to, come back maybe rusty or something like that. Not with Rusty, but rusty. And then they came back and they actually put in the effort. They got the goal and they won the game. Tulinchani with a perfect goal on that set piece.
That was poor goalkeeping. Very.
It was a perfect road goal where you did what you needed to do to get the goal.
His technique was right down into the ground with a header, but that was almost David Osted at Minnesota bad.
Yeah.
Or worse, probably worse.
Brian Rowe is no Jake Gleeson.
No, definitely not.
Oh, my. That's right, he doesn't.
That's one place where the Galaxy don't spend money.
Anyway, that was the LA game. It filled me with a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Then we watched...
And then,
Portland implode against Salt Lake, which filled me with even more hope.
And 2 red cards that night.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking
idiotic red cards as well.
That second one was shocking.
Yeah.
Addy's, it was shocking.
No excuse for that. Like, your team is already short. And then you've got 2 stupid moves like that makes them even shorter. So heading into this game today, I have to admit, I was overly confident.
Apparently,
and I think rightly so.
I think apparently all the players were too.
Yeah. It was not a game for the ages, or it was not a performance for the ages from the Whitecaps. Portland, I feel rightly so, will hold this as a game for the ages. When you've got a derby, especially when you're on the road, any away win in a derby game feels special.
It's huge.
Yeah. When you go to your fierce rivals, undermanned, depleted squad, academy call-ups, USL call-ups, you're playing a team that's just come off a big win, and you come away with a win like that, going ahead twice, because when we tied it up before half-time, I was fully confident we were going ahead.
Yeah.
Second half, steamroller them. They played a great game. And I really hate to give credit to Caleb Porter and I hate to give credit to Portland, but they were excellent today. They did what they needed to do, and I feel they were probably deserved winners because of how they managed the game. Yeah, Jake Gleeson pulled out a number of good saves. I just don't think we deserve to get a win out of that.
Yeah, I agree. The performance was not worthy of a point even. It was that disappointing. And
I think going into the game, a point would have been considered a loss at that time too, yeah.
Totally. But through the entire second half, I think most people were like, or at least the last 20 minutes of the second half, people were like, well, we're going to at least get a point out of this. That would be happy. But no, that would make us happy. But
and we did have the chances to get the point. We have to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Gleeson had 3 at least fantastic saves throughout the game.
Fantastic.
The one off Breckshea was the game saver.
It was It was a game saver save. It was not that difficult of a save. I felt. I've seen.
I'd like to see you do it.
Oh well.
And then he had that save where it was going towards the bottom post, heading towards there, and I think it was inside the post, and he was able to knock that away.
And then just before the goal, he kept Chani out as well.
Right. No, the save at the end, which I've seen multiple times on SportsCenter loops or whatever tonight. He saved the game. Sure, he saved the game. Yeah. I don't think the difficulty of the save was not as high as I think some people are giving him credit for.
There's been a lot of chatter on Twitter, as there always is, and we're going to come to some tweets and stuff later in the show. But I think the overriding feeling, I mean, we said disappointment, but the overriding feeling, this is the angriest I think I've seen a number of fans for quite a while. And considering how well we've done, and we beat New York, we beat LA, and everything looked to be going well, a lot of anger aimed towards Carl Robinson as well. And part of that is about the lineup. Was it the right lineup to put out there? Bearing in mind that Jordi Reyna clearly is not ready to go a full game yet.
Well, listening to the pregame on the way in, they talked about how it was a reward for their performance in LA. So it was like, okay, you helped us get this significant away result. You've earned the chance to get this significant home result. And so I see that thinking, and I see the value in that thinking. And if Jordy's not ready to go, then it makes some sense. I think one of the most disappointing things I think of both those games, of both Wednesdays and today's game, is probably for the people, and I love the dude. They're probably the people who are really high on Nico Mesquita getting lots of time. I love Nico as a person. I think he is a footballer that adds something to our squad. But I think in both games, I don't think he contributed the way he does often when he comes on as a sub.
My only issue with your comment about rewarding the team for a performance beforehand, they've done that in the past, and it usually bites them. So they need to stop that and figure out what's the best lineup instead of rewarding players for something.
Right. Just to be clear, that wasn't my perspective.
No, I know you're not saying it. I'm saying they need to stop that, and they need to figure out what's the best lineup instead of just because they get a result on the road doesn't mean that's the right lineup to play at home or the right lineup to play against a certain team.
And you just have to watch Hell's Kitchen. Whenever the winning team gets the reward, they come back for the nighttime service, and they're not good.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
And
it's a pattern.
I do feel someone like Gordon Ramsay, possibly in the Whitecaps bench, would get the best out of this.
You've seen that clip of him playing in that charity game where he gets rocked by who's it, like Colin Hendry or someone?
I can't remember. It was a pro that took him out, and
he like did his knee or something. Like it was bad.
He has talked himself up as to what a good player he was.
Right, and then he got cut down.
Yeah,
chopped down like a tree,
like a timber.
Yeah.
Let's look at the goals quickly. The first one, I knew it was bad defending when I first saw it, and I didn't really get a chance to look too much into it during the game. Went home, watched Game of Thrones. Then I started to kind of quickly go through the game just to look at the replay of it. Now, the first goal, ball comes in, great clearance by Parker to head it out. Ball comes to Blanco on the edge of the box. 4 Whitecaps decide to go and close him down. You've got Harvey, Nerwinski, Laba. Can't remember who the other one was. It might even have been Parker. All 4 of them go to close Blanco down. Blanco doesn't shoot. He plays it out to Asprilla, who then plays it into an absolutely unmarked...
Ibo BC?
Yeah, him.
Okay.
That guy.
He's a 4th overall pick this year. Right?
Yeah. Unmarked in the middle. Easily slots home. When you look to point fingers at who should be picking him up, it's kind of hard to tell. It's like Harvey was the most out of the position because he was the first one to try and charge down Blanco. But Laba is just kind of just in no man's land, not even trying to close down or not even anticipating that the ball's going to come in from Asprilla.
Oh, no, I 100% agree. It was just, they seem to just shut down or just turn off the switch or something like that. And it needs to stop happening because that was too... When you're playing against a central striker who's by himself and you have 2 center backs, one of those center backs better be marking this guy. And this guy was way too open for that. The Whitecaps were able to, they did come back in the later half of the second half, finally, after a very long time. It was a matter of a couple of efforts or whatever like that. And Gleeson came up big one time on Shani, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then the ensuing corner, that's the one where they scored.
Yeah. And it was a nice header from Tim Parker. At first I thought his header was going goal bound and that he had another goal taken off him. But when you see it again, it wasn't going to be going in.
Yeah.
But great anticipation from Jacobson. When we first saw it, we thought he might have been offside.
But he's not?
He runs in. There's 2 Timbers defenders in front of him. Nice little finish.
I've just seen the Portland goal. Yeah, that's a terrible goal to give away. But yeah, great finish. AJ, back post, get in there. Good play by Timmy as well.
That's the thing you need. You need people to go to the back post and go to the different middle, back, everywhere to get those rebounds.
Although with that referee's assistant, like right away went in, I looked to make sure that he wasn't going to call him offside because I thought he got a few things wrong. I might be wrong because I don't have the greatest angle, but I thought he got a few things wrong tonight, or there's a few things he didn't call tonight that were kind of awkward. So I was kind of expecting him to
There's a couple of free kicks I think he could maybe have given that he didn't. But I mean, after that, as we said earlier, I thought that's it. I genuinely had felt if we got a goal before half time, that was it.
And you said it too. You proclaimed it in the press box.
Yeah.
Proclaimed it in the press box.
I am the king
of Cascadia.
I heard you taunting somebody that we were the kings of Cascadia, I believe, after the second goal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
That second goal, that was a good goal. It was a well-worked goal. Nice little back heel from our friend Ibo.
Ibo EBC.
Yeah. I'm never going to get that.
I actually got it for once.
I know. And then, I mean, there's a great run by Blanco.
Yeah.
Up the wing.
Went quite a bit of distance.
Yeah.
I didn't think he could run that much.
Got it back, slotted home. Not really sure that you can point too many fingers at Whitecaps for that one.
That was a little bit of laba.
Yeah, I was going to say,
unfortunate knock.
Laba.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't even. I don't think he played very well today. And we'll talk about individual performances. But he hit that ball, tried to get it away from him, but it unfortunately went right into Nowitzki. Lucky bounce for him. It came right back to Blanco, who got it to BC back heel. It's in.
But both. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
And like, if you look at that, another bad bounce for the Whitecaps was the one where Montero had that ball over the top where he tried to poke it through, and he basically he couldn't get it enough, and it just bounced and it died on the turf. There was no like forward momentum there where it could have gone in. It just bounced, died, and the goal was over.
There was sure it was an unlucky bounce. However, you had two guys kind of dive in, and they got caught, right? And so they dove in,
tackled each other.
They dove in, and they didn't follow the run, and they got done.
How many goals have we lost this year though by not following the runner? Because when I first saw it, I thought it was possibly someone hadn't tracked, and then, of course, Blanco had the run, so it wasn't that no one had tracked him back, but somebody should have been in that middle channel.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was disappointing.
Very.
And there was no more goals. There was chances for both teams. Portland are very, very happy with the win. Let's hear from both head coaches now. We'll hear a little bit first from Whitecaps coach Carl Robinson. I didn't get a chance to ask him anything today because Caleb Porter didn't come into the press conference room. Because MLS wanted a piece tonight on Porter, so I had to go to the Timbers locker room. So I didn't get a chance to ask Robbo anything, but you did, Steve.
Yep.
So we'll hear from Robbo first, and then we'll hear from... He still sounds miserable, but I guess a happy Caleb Porter.
Carl, just your reaction to losing to an undermanned side. Did you think that the guys took them a little lightly from the start?
Disappointed, obviously, losing a rivalry game. I think first half we played very well, exceptionally well. We got the equaliser just before half-time. I don't think probably it was a fair reflection of the first half. I thought we were a better team. Second half, it was always going to come down to a mistake, a wonder goal or something like that. And when you give a good team like Portland the lead, 5 minutes and 10 minutes in the second half, it's very difficult. And you got to give them credit. So I will give them a lot of credit today because they managed to hang on. The keeper come up with one or two big saves as well. But it hurts.
You guys did give up. I mean, disappointed on both of those.
Yeah, listen, very poor. I think two very poor goals, and that's the thing as a coach is you play on Wednesday and we do every little duty correctly, individually and collectively, and then you play 3-4 days later and it seems it's not your day. And I had a feeling like that as the game wore on. It might not be our day, and as I said, you can't give good teams leads or goals, and we did, unfortunately.
Can you explain the little tit-for-tat that you had with Caleb Porter after the game?
No, I just said congratulations to him. That was it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you should ask him. But I know this staff very well. All great guys. So, no.
The third seemed a little flat.
Yeah.
Is there anything that needs to be done, or is it just getting Reyna a start and seeing what he can do with that?
Yeah, no, listen, I toyed with the idea of making 2 or 3 changes in the lineup because we've got really good options now. After Wednesday night, the boys put a lot into it, and after 45 minutes, I thought, it was the right decision, and I still think it was the right decision, but my attacking players were a little bit off. The final balls weren't great. We didn't actually beat any of their defenders 1v1, and the quality in the final third wasn't quite right. And sometimes you have to accept that, and we will today. Disappointing, it does hurt when you lose a big game. But credit to Portland, they come into our house and got 3 points. So sometimes you have to give them the opposition credit.
Yeah, this is one of these moments, that reminds you as a coach why you roll up your sleeves and go to war every single day. And there have been a lot of bullets flying, everywhere. And we brought that on ourselves, but some of it's been just really unlucky, with some of the injuries and the adversity, that we've had. And I said to the guys, all week and reminded them before the game that when it's easy to be, do things right, and it's easy to go out and be confident and play well. And it's not easy when results aren't going your way. It's not easy when you have a thin roster. It's not easy when you're playing different roles than you've played. But the true professionals, the guys with character, which I know I have a locker room full of them, which is why I picked them. I knew that I'd see the best out of them, and I'd see their best character. And I thought we were deserved winners. I felt our mentality was excellent for the 90 minutes. Started well, scored the goal, responded well after giving up the goal. You could see we had great belief all game long, which isn't easy with a group of guys that haven't played together. And so from that standpoint, mentality-wise, excellent. I thought organizationally, we're spot on defensively. We really played well, team defending, and I thought in the attack we were the team that was looking always to be dangerous and running at their back four, even late. So I thought we had the better mentality. I thought we were the better team on both sides of the ball, and I thought we were deserved, winners today.
Jake Gleeson always seems to play out of his skin when he comes to BC Place. Just talk a little bit about his performance today.
Yeah, the good thing about Jake is he was himself. And what I mean by that is, he's been working hard to improve in some areas, and he has. His kicking and, our ability to play through him, those are things that we focus on improving with him. But the problem is sometimes he's gotten away with what he's best at. And what he's best at is he's an unbelievable shot stopper. He's in my opinion, one of the best shot stoppers in the league. And it was great to see him back to doing what he does. And first and foremost, that's keeping the ball at the back of the net, and we had a good talk a couple weeks ago just about making sure that he doesn't lose sight of what he's best at. And I thought he showed that today.
At the end of the game, was it just emotions running a bit high, or was it just some friendly banter?
It's between Carl and I. Obviously shook a hand and there was a comment, and I didn't care for it.
Especially coming off a result like RSL and coming with the short-handed roster you had, coming here and doing this. How does a big performance, like this help the team build off it and maybe create something?
Yeah, obviously it's a real positive moment, right? Obviously we got a great win on the road. We needed it. It was really unbelievable timing. And I don't think anybody expected us to do this. And I think only, maybe 18 guys in the locker room and the coaches were the only ones that really thought we were going to win this game. And we really believed. And you saw that. It wasn't fake. It wasn't, it wasn't me saying, oh, yeah, let's believe. They really thought we'd win this game. And that's difficult. I don't know if you guys realize, to get guys to believe when, there's a lot of guys out there that haven't played together and, frankly, haven't gotten the job done. So that's a positive. But it's only one game, and that's the key. It doesn't get any easier. They got to remember what they did today to get the win, and they got to do it again. That's how simple it is. And what they did today was invest a lot over the 90 minutes. They gave everything physically, mentally, and tactically.
He's the gaffer. You can't try it up with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall, has the answer to it all.
He is the gaffer. I don't know. Is he ever sounds happy? I don't know.
No, not really. I've interviewed him after wins, and he's never happy.
So one of the talking points, of course, after the game, there was a little bit of a tiff, kerfuffle between Robbo and Porter, and obviously we hadn't heard the TV broadcast by that point. So the question was asked to Robbo, question was asked to Porter, neither of them wanted to say anything. But then when I got home and then I watched the end of the game, they actually picked it up pretty clear. Robo goes in and he must say something along the lines of, "Oh, that was a good win, but," and then
he
pulls
walked
away.
Yeah.
And then Porter's like, "But what? But what? You have to show me some respect here, Carroll. But what?"
Yeah.
He should have.
And then Gordon Forrest gets involved, and then
they break up Gordon and Forrest and Caleb Porter. They break them up. They were able to push him aside. Martin Pert, I think, actually was the one that kind of got in the middle. And then Caleb Porter went after Cole Robinson again. And then you could see again on the broadcast that they were talking again.
You couldn't really hear what they were saying.
That second time, no.
One of the Whitecaps guys, whoever it was, put his clipboard up to the camera as well, so they couldn't even film it. But the cameraman got out of the way.
Yeah.
So it's always a bit of fun. You want a bit of banter. The thing is, the two of them, they're really good friends.
Yeah.
Which folk don't understand, because
this could be a work.
Folk think there's a real niggle between them. Or they're going to join Bullet Club or something.
Oh, yeah, it could be a work.
The what club?
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just
it's okay.
If you don't understand,
if you don't understand what we're talking about, it's either something to do with Scotland or
don't worry about it,
or it's wrestling.
Haggis Club, is that what you said?
Okay,
Haggis Club.
Next.
No, I wish he would have pulled a pep and just not like shaking his hand. You know,
I wish he'd have pulled a steel chair and whacked him over the head. Last thing we'll talk about in this section about the game is something which pissed me off the whole night long. Was the amount of turnovers and giveaways and passes that were short.
And the lack of chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, no, I got one.
Oh, okay,
I was happy with that.
Okay.
I didn't get a white macadamia nut one. I was disappointed with that. But the turnovers, no apple turnovers, but the turnovers and defensive breakdowns, really not acceptable.
Even some of the passes, there was just there was just. I'm picking up. People are going to think I'm picking up Laba again, but
I was going to pick him in a minute, so you're good.
No, but his pass once to Chera, he passed the ball. They were only about maybe 5 yards away. He passed it so hard to Chera, couldn't even get a touch. It just went up in the air, and they just lost the ball. They lost possession. So there was even, and he wasn't the only one. There were other ones that were just laying so much heat on the pass that the other person couldn't control it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of breaks forward, and then they square the ball inside, and it would either get intercepted by Portland or just wouldn't go to anyone at all.
Yeah, there was a lot of poor passing. Like, there was a lot of just groans in the supporter end of like, oh, not again, oh, not again. It was a very, very frustrating performance.
And it wasn't in the final third where they normally have poor passing. It was all over the pitch.
Yeah. So we talked just a little bit more about the Timbers game. Some individual player performances, individual player breakdowns, and they kind of did break down over the park today, really.
Especially defensively.
First thing, let's look at a glass half full, first of all. Did any players stand out for you that did well? Okay.
No, I don't see. I honestly can't. Some people didn't play horribly, but I don't think anybody played well.
Maybe Jake got 4.
Yeah, Jake
got some balls into the box.
Yeah, he was not bad.
I wouldn't want.
Timmy Parker wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't bad. I think he was just.
We're scraping the barrel now. It's like wasn't bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody played well.
No, but that's the thing. He was getting praise for his captain's performance and his communication on the pitch in LA.
Yeah.
And this might be nitpicking a little bit, but there were times in this game where he didn't play enough of a captain's role. So much so that David Osted decided he'll take a yellow card by going to yell at the ref because he didn't appreciate what happened, which was poor leadership and a poor decision. But Tim had kind of not been going at the ref for some of the lack of calls or bad calls or whatever, and so David took it upon himself.
I don't know what he was doing there.
Yeah, it was an obvious yellow card. As soon as he left, I was like, oh, he's going to get booked. Like,
but it could have been a strategic one too, where he wanted to pump up the players around him.
Well, he pumped the fans up when
he went back. He got the supporters up off their feet.
He was like telling everyone to get up and make some noise. And as I tweeted out, it would have been better if they had actually strung some passes together and had an offensive attack. That would maybe do that better.
I was just going to say, it's unfortunate when you have to do that during a Cascadia Cup match.
I think he was very frustrated today. He has looked quite frustrated for a while, and we'll talk about the new goalkeeper later on in this section. This is going to be a goalkeeper-heavy section, I think. Let's look at some players then that maybe didn't cover themselves in some glory. Matty Laba, don't want to pile on him.
I think the whole midfield. Just put the whole package, the whole starting midfield together.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody that...
Bola wasn't good. Teixeira
wasn't too bad.
He was busy, but his passes again let him down. And there was some stats came out during the week. He's the guy with the lowest passing accuracy in the Whitecaps.
But I think the crosses included in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why.
But he's got 5 goals and 4 assists, so I'll take that.
Yeah. And Montero on top, he was left alone.
No,
He had that- he
that would never happen.
He had that one chance in the first half.
Where he couldn't poke, the one I was talking about earlier, he couldn't poke it through, it just stopped.
Couldn't get enough on it.
Well, there's a couple where he couldn't poke and a couple he couldn't get to, and it felt like there was 3 or 4 in total in the first half.
I don't remember seeing him come out wide as much as he did in that first half.
There were a couple times where he was able to hold up the ball wide and get it to Jake. But no, it wasn't as much as before. And he didn't track back into the midfield to get the ball as much as he has done in the past.
Any other players that stood out for you for the wrong reasons today?
I don't think anybody had a horrible game either. Really, it was just all disappointing. I think the midfield was the biggest problem.
Yeah, I think there's been people commenting on the lack of grit and determination.
Yeah,
like this is such a huge game. Like if you don't win your Cascadia Cup home matches, you really hurt your chances of winning the cup, and it really feels like that was a huge dent to the effort to repeat with a seventh Cascadia Cup.
Yeah, but I mean, any home game they should be up for, any derby game they should be up for. But on the back of such a good performance or a winning performance in LA, you're just expecting a lot more. And something which we touched about in the first half, or first part, and then we'll talk about it just now. The lineup that was put out today. It's an interesting scenario when you've got a guy on the bench like Brek Shea. He's a DP.
Yeah.
He's on big money. That's not a reason to play people.
Yeah.
It's because of their salary. Looking if you wanted to make some tweaks to the formation, if you want to get them more attacking, get the guys on that play today, get Rain involved, you look at players that might drop out of the lineup. And Tony Chaney's one of those players that could drop out the lineup, or even Laba. So then if they drop out and one of them's on the bench on big money, Laba being a DP, Chaney almost being a DP.
Very high price.
And you've got Shea on the bench as a DP. Our use of the salary cap is not good this year.
No. And you were talking about but I think if you look at the lineup, the guy who I think if you were going to start Brek Shea, I think it would have been in place of Mosqueda today. And maybe play a 4-4-2, play something different that Portland's not expecting. And that maybe would have also given Freddie Montero a little bit of help. Maybe Freddie plays the number 10 role instead of playing the number 9 role, and Brek plays up top.
Maybe. I mean, I had us down for playing 4-2-3-1 today, but I thought Bola would be in the middle, and Teixeira on the right, and Shea on the left.
Yeah.
It just seemed the ideal game to have Shea in. You wanted to be attacking. You knew that this was a Portland team that was undermanned.
And you wanted to be more physical up front because they couldn't afford to take yellow cards or red cards.
Yeah.
You could have forced
the first goal was always going to be crucial.
Yeah.
It is in many games, but in a game like this in particular, if the Timbers had gone one behind, with that lineup that they had and all the things, the adversity they were facing, blah, 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 to try and get themselves back into the game would have been a mountain to climb, left lots of room. We could have exploited that. We had to get the first goal. We had to attack from the off. And to give one up so cheaply, and then it just fell into Portland's lap. They got to play the game they wanted to play.
Yep.
And then after half-time, you're given a goal up so early. And again, it just falls into their hands. And they were so comfortable for the rest of that match.
And the thing is you were talking about maybe getting a different lineup to start off the game. Like, Robbo, before the LA game, mentioned on local radio that he was maybe Reyna would be ready to start in one of those two games. He mentioned that, but it obviously wasn't the case. And guys like Davies, who could have made a difference to start off the game, but I think
Davies, I understand.
Yeah, he played 82 minutes.
Just come back, 80 odd minutes for Canada on Thursday. Wasn't very good in it.
But
had a long Gold Cup.
Yeah. But the problem is the players that were on the pitch should have brought that mentality themselves. And like Zach said, you shouldn't have to be forced into bringing up your best game against a Cascadian rival.
I want to go through some tweets that we had tonight.
Oh, there's some good ones.
Yeah. This could take the rest of the 2 hours of the show, I don't know. Ryan McLeod at Ryan McCoover. He can't put together his preferred lineup just now because he feels the club hasn't signed the right players yet to have the actual lineup that he's wanting. I'd put a poll out on Twitter just to ask what people thought about the formation. Did it allow the Whitecaps to play their best players? Like we're talking about Shea not getting on, Reyna being on the bench. I mean, it was an attacking bench. You had Ibini, who doesn't even get on the pitch. You have to feel he's not going to be happy coming all the way over from Australia. He would maybe accept a substitute's role until he proves himself, but not even getting on the pitch. That's going to be frustrating. So I asked, does the formation allow them to play their best players? 21% said yes, 79% said no. And then a follow-up question to that was, do the Whitecaps even know who their best starting 11 is right now? I mean, do you feel he knows what the best starting 11 is? Now that everyone's healthy, in the past it was pretty easy. When he had that unchanged team for weeks, he didn't have a lot of players to go with. Now everyone's back. Does he know what he should be playing and who he should be playing?
Well, they talk about competition all the time. Why not compete for the starting 11? Why does he need to have a best starting 11? Change it up once in a while. I don't have a problem with that.
But you have to change it up, but you have to have an idea as to who should be on there.
Yeah.
And I don't think sitting Davies, Reyna, Ibini and Shea is your ideal starting 11, especially for a game like this.
Well, I think, okay, back five, let's go level by level. Back five, you know who you're starting
yeah,
five
I mean,
are.
Once Waston's back,
yeah.
Then he goes in. Harvey, the spot says there's no challengers. Nerwinski's made the right back his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And okay, how about your three in the midfield? Do you know who your three in the midfield are?
Well, see, this then goes to your formation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go... I'd like to see a 4-1-3-2.
Okay.
I think that would allow you to get two strikers and get a little bit of help from Montero.
Yeah.
In that case, I would have Laba as my one for all my criticism of him.
Because there's no other choice, really.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do Jacobson and have somebody steady.
I like Jacobson, but he's not maybe dynamic.
Well, that's the one thing I don't.
I'm sorry. Like, if you're comparing it to Laba, we saw Laba, and you even mentioned that he looked winded, and that was the first 10 minutes. That was the first 10 minutes.
10 minutes, I said, he looks knackered
so
already.
You can't say that Laba is very dynamic if he's getting winded in the first 10 minutes. And he's jogging. He's always jogging back. He's never
that's the
like
thing
at full
that
speed.
we've talked about so much that really pisses me off.
That's my always issue with him. Everybody calling they want a destroyer in the back. He might destroy initially, but if he gets caught out, he'll never get back. Other players do track back much faster than him. He's not athletic enough to be that.
That's, I don't think I heard you guys mention this, but we were missing Kendall Waston, right, which is a huge thing. So if Waston's there, then Jacobson's probably midfield.
How many?
And is Chani left out then?
How many players are Portland missing?
But then
Chani
would not have been left out. Jacobson would have been the one that would have been left out today, going back to this whole reward because Chani scored the goal.
Yeah.
You're not going to then drop the guy that scored the goal.
I would have no problem dropping
I have
anybody.
no problem either, but that's unfortunately how things tend to be. Got an interesting one here from Carlos A. at Nolibertos on Twitter. He says, Robbo knows jack about the triangle offence. He buys South American players for long balling. Sigh. If he wants long balls, buy an Englishman then. And there were so many tweets from various folk going on about the long ball tactics.
Yeah.
And how the players on the pitch are not cut out for that. And
especially Montero.
Yeah, Montero is not suited to being in a long ball thing. And you've got talented midfielders, and then you're just cutting them out of the game by punting the ball up the pitch.
Well, and that was one of the awkward things, because it felt like Breck Shea was brought on at the end to add height, right? And it did not feel like a fit. Or sorry, to me, he does not feel like a fit as an out-and-out striker.
It's hard, I think, for a player like Shea as well to come in with the style that he plays, and in 6 minutes, was it? He hit 74th minute, so 16 minutes, to try and be that kind of game changer. Just a couple more quick tweets here, and then we'll kind of move on. We'll get to some more of them later. There was a lot of debate, as I said, about the long ball, and going back to the whole DP thing. Hugh Belanis, he says, I don't run an MLS club. So we know that this isn't Bobby or Greg Kerfoot under a different name, because they would be more honest than that. I don't run an MLS club, but I'm pretty sure leaving a DP on the bench is bad use of cap dollars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
A few more agree with that.
Hugh's an awesome dude.
Rich Halland, Halas777, there doesn't seem to be much movement off the ball. He likes two strikers up front. He agrees a 4-1-3-2 with Freddie and Breck, and then behind that, Fonzie, Bola and Yordi.
Yeah.
That is an exciting lineup, but then you've not got Channy, you've not got Jacobson in there, and I'm fine with that, but is Robo fine with that?
Yeah, the only thing with the 4-1-3-2, you need the wingers to drop back and tuck in when defensively.
Well, today it was weird because Bola was playing wide, but he was so central, which I don't know if it was to give Jordan Harvey more space.
Yeah, I don't really know where Bola was actually meant to be playing.
Yeah, it was very strange. But the thing is, when Davies came on, Robbo specifically gave him instructions to play wide, and Davies and Reyna were playing because they switched to a 4-1-4-1 at that time. So
it honestly was hard to tell because the shape was all over the place.
Well, at one point, Parker was playing left back. Going up.
Parker was really far up the pitch.
That was in
the game.
Later, that was in the final few minutes. They had to push everybody up.
Will C at CastW123 says there's such a gulf in understanding between the defence and the attack that any formation just leads to the long ball. Let's see.
Any more?
Horrid formation, says Whitecap Scarf. Players do not suit it. There's so much more. The best players usually play, but does the formation allow them to play their best, or are they suited for what the tactics are? Because a lot of people were saying it isn't the formation, it's the tactics.
Could be, yeah. I thought they should have just pressed and pushed it forward and not given them so much space. They seem to give Timbers way too much space today.
And the last two tweets I'll read here. Clement Miranda at Peluco52. What is the percentage of success in designated players for the Whitecaps? They don't seem to spend money smart. And Hugh Belanis replied, I can't name a successful DP beside Laba, who I'd argue should be on TAM anyway, but I'm not good enough at math and MLS rules to make that argument.
And he does.
You know, the more that he tweets, I think he could be one of the Whitecaps.
And like he stated earlier, he doesn't run an MLS team as well.
Maybe he should. He doesn't know much. So,
I think we talked about it earlier a few weeks ago or something. At this point, I'm going to say Eric Hasley's the only successful DP.
Eric was so good.
And that's it.
Not Barry Robson?
No, Barry Robson wasn't. Kenny Miller was.
I think Kenny Miller was a success.
Miller was quality too.
And if Kenny Miller had stayed and had these players around him. Yeah, got a divorce.
No,
I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
You shouldn't joke about that.
Because if he did have a divorce, he would still be here.
Yeah,
no, man.
Hashtag divorce for Kenny.
He just built. They just built their new house.
Any Bears there?
I don't care. Well, there's lots of Bears. He plays for Rangers.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm going to actually just read two more tweets here. We're going to do all these in the fourth part, but I know that Steve's just dying to press this audio, so I'm just going to keep him high.
No, I'm just ready because you give me no warning usually, so I'm just ready to hit it.
Greg Petrie, our friend of the show at Our Dumb World. It seems more like the player acquisition strategy is based on who they can afford, not who fits the style that they actually want to play.
That seems right.
And the last one. From JB Runquist at JRun14. Freddie can't be left on an island trying to hold up 60-yard punts. How are we playing 2 DMs and still getting scorched at the back?
That's a very excellent point. Actually, sometimes 3 DMs.
Yeah.
With Jacobson there too.
And we still get scorched.
Yeah.
So, we can all agree it wasn't a great performance from the Whitecaps. There were some really, really good performances from a number of Timbers. We talked about one of them, Jake Gleeson. Zach doesn't think he had fantastic saves. I think they were pretty good saves.
Sure, it was a game-saving save. Fantastic. I just don't think the quality, the technique of the save was that hard. It was not the shot. The ball was not that close to it. Was not that far from him. The pace was, I don't know, medium. Like it wasn't like a rocket. I don't know.
Anyway, I think he was the big decider today. I got a chance to speak to Jake Gleeson in the Timbers locker room after the game, talking about the match, but also being a Kiwi, and with us now being the landing place for all these Kiwis, we had a chat about the new Whitecaps goalkeeper, Stefan Maranovic. What is it about BC Place? Whenever you come here, you seem to play out your skin.
It's a rivalry. In any rivalry, you want to do well, but in any game, you want to do well. It's a fun place to play. It's a good atmosphere. Our fans come up and they're loud for us. And like I said, it's a rivalry. Every rivalry you want to play, you want to step up and do well. So it's nice to come here and get the 3 points today.
The saves that you made, first half you had a good one from Channy that you turned around the post, but possibly the game changer was the one you had from Shea in the second. Did you see much of that, or was that just an instinct one?
Yeah, he hit it pretty well. I was pretty unlucky that the bounce fell to him. But he hit it pretty well. I was lucky enough that it was close enough to me I could get a good pour on it and put it wide. But it was just one of those things where maybe if it was a little wider, it could have been a goal. But I'll take that and file it away and build off it.
When you're coming here, not many people gave you much of a chance. Caleb talked about maybe the only 18 folk in this locker room believed that you could do something today. When you know that everything's against you, does that just give you that added spurt to go out and play freer because no one's expecting much?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think the only people who thought we didn't have a chance were people outside this locker room. We came in to win, and we came in and we played to win, and I think that showed in the field. And you're a professional athlete for a reason. You're a professional soccer player for a reason because you want to win. It doesn't matter who's on the lineup. It doesn't matter, who's out there next year. It's every game you come in to win. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, and then you got to look back, rebuild, and refocus. But no, we always believe we can come here and get a point and get 3. So we're happy about that.
Last thing, here in Vancouver, we've just added another Kiwi, Stefan Maranovic. What do you know of him? Have you played much with him? What do you think he's going to bring to this league?
I've only briefly met him last camp. He seems it was really good dude. Obviously, he showed well in Confederations Cup, so I think for you guys it's good. It's nice to see Kiwi goalkeepers kind of making a move overseas too, and solidifies the position as a safe one in New Zealand football. So, I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously, with Osted in the pipes, it's pretty. It's going to be a pretty difficult man to unseed, and Spencer Rissi's a pretty great keeper too. So he'll come in and he'll battle, and I'm sure he'll do well. But from what I know of him, he's a good guy and a good goalkeeper. So you guys should be excited to have him.
Okay, thanks so much, Jake.
Cheers.
So Jake Gleeson there talking about the game, and of course the Whitecaps' new signing, Stefan Maranovic. Not Miranovic, as I called him during the thing. Very confusing, these names. I just don't get it.
A and I's.
But another Kiwi has joined the Whitecaps. We now have 4 or 5 if we count Ben McKendry, which I always do.
So it's Declan Wynn.
Meyer Bevan.
Yeah.
Francis de Vries.
That's him.
Stefan Maranovic.
There you go. That's a 4.
Kiwi.
Let's chat about the keeper that's coming in.
Yes.
Instead of the one that's around a pole. Stefan Maranovic. They signed him. He played in the German leagues.
Division 4 and then Division 3.
No, he never played actually in Division 3. They just got promoted this year. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my.
So he's coming in, but he is Kiwi. I think he's born in Croatia or something like that. Or I can't remember exactly what that was. But
we could have had Milan Borjan.
Yeah, I don't think that was.
What? Say what?
We could have had Milan Borjan.
Right now?
No, he was born in Croatia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just saying, don't worry about it. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? What do you think it entails for Ousted, for example? Like this guy, I don't see them signing him as a backup because they had Spencer Ritchie to be the backup next year or even this year. I think he's good enough this year.
But they had to add someone now because Ritchie has been loaned to the USL team for the year.
They can't cancel that?
They can, but they want him to play, and then it makes it more complicated for him to go down and play down there.
Oh, so what does it mean for Ousted, you guys think?
So first off, before we get to that, I think it's nice to have someone who's played for Unterhaching, which is a suburban Munich team. I'm looking forward to hopefully talking to him a little bit about that. Michael, I saw you, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I saw you on Twitter saying, there's nothing to the fact that the keeper coach who brought in Osted is gone, and the one who, like he did for supporters, fought for Osted. There's rumor that Osted wants more money.
His contract's up this year, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Or his contract's up.
Basically,
or he wants more money.
what I was asked was, is he... Someone said they've heard he's really unhappy here. And I said, I haven't heard that.
Oh, okay. That's what.
And then I said, although Marius has gone, so that will probably make him a little bit unhappy.
Yeah. So that and the fact that he's not going to get probably not going to get the raise he wants, knowing the people we know.
Yeah. From what I've heard, he's looking for another increase next year.
Yeah. And the people I know, when I say the people I know, we meant how the Whitecaps deal with money and players and whatever.
But you have to also look at MLS on the whole.
Right.
And what goalkeepers get paid in MLS.
Right.
Now, you could be an exception to the rule like Colorado, go out and spend a lot of money. Or you could be like every other club and just have a normal goalkeeper that some games will play great, some games won't play great. That's what goalkeepers do. Instead, we've got David Ousted, who I'm a huge fan of.
And so are a lot of people.
He's saved us so many points over the years. He's saved us so many games over the years. But let's be honest, last season and this season, he has been patchy.
Yeah, there have been times.
Is he worth, say, another 200 or 250,000 increase on what he's currently getting?
I would say no.
I have to say that as well.
I've never been a fan of overpaying for goalkeepers.
Not when you've got some really good young talent coming through as well.
I'd rather use that money and spend it on defenders or a midfielder or something like somewhere else.
So the other piece of this is they just paid $50,000 in general allocation money to get an international spot. So we have two keepers that are taking
but they sold that
spot.
for 75, so they've made 25,000 profit.
Yeah, it's good times. But
okay, but you still have
spin.
You still have two. Yeah, Mr. Whitecap's loving you right now. They still have two keepers who are international, take up international spots, which is ridiculous. Yeah. And the other thing that this does, if David is leaving and Kiwi's taken over as the number one spot, are they not blocking the pathway for Spencer Ritchie to take up a proper number 2 role and one day a number 1 role, and blocking a pathway for Sean Melvin? Because I think we all in this room all thought Sean Melvin was going to get.
I thought Melvin would get an MLS deal. And then him and Ritchie would possibly share some time on the bench. And then Thomas Hassel would get the USL deal. But what I will say in defence of that is Paulo Tornaghi was great. He didn't seem to mind. He obviously probably did. But he didn't seem to mind that he was just travelling around and not playing every week. That does not serve Spencer any good whatsoever for his development. He's going to be travelling around the country, not probably going to get a single minute, but sitting on the bench. And then not able to really play USL games apart from maybe the odd home one. I don't feel him being the number 2 this season and travelling helps his development.
But, okay, I just want to throw out this speculation and you guys can comment. My feeling, and I have no inside information on this at all, I think the decision has already been made and Aus is not coming back next year.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think Marinovic is going to be competing with Spencer Ritchie for the starting spot next year. They're going to have 2 cheaper goalkeepers. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know how much. I don't think they would spend that much money on Marinovic.
I don't think he can be on that much.
No, so
I don't think they have that much room.
Yeah, well, they will have room when Ulster gets off the books next year. They could spend that money somewhere else, the cap money itself. But I think the decision's already been done. I think Ousted, and I don't have any issues with Ousted even knowing that, because I think Ousted is professional enough to play the way he is, the way he does. I don't think it's going to be any drop off in his game at all.
I don't know that I'm not worried. I'm not worried about a drop off in his game. I'm worried about how this affects the team chemistry.
Oh yeah, well that's always an issue.
I think they've rocked the boat a little bit with this because, I don't think David was ever going to stay here forever, but it's surprising that they're gonna. It feels like they might be moving on such a player that's so well liked, and even though if you agree with Michael's comment of his forms have been patchy, he has still been massive. He's
been massive, but is he $700,000 massive?
If he's
is that what he's asking for?
Something like that. It'll be. Well, it's speculation.
I haven't been in the room listening.
Yeah,
but I mean, his salary just now. What I believe is it's been bought down by about $200,000.
Yeah.
And he's looking for another 200, 250 on top of the bought down figure, which would take you to about 700,000.
So the makeup figure that they've told us is what, 300 something?
I think is it not 4? 380, 360, something like that.
Whatever it
Basically
is, yeah.
So
we're away from the numbers, by the way.
yeah, we don't know much about this. So I think you'd be looking that he's looking for maybe 700, 750.
And I don't. And like I said, if he was the same amount this year, I mean, he's willing to come back for the same amount next year, then I'd be kind of okay with that. But an increase at that point, you have to cut ties and you have to look for somebody else.
In a league like MLS, salary cap, everything like that, you hate going on about salaries, but it is important and it is about spending wisely. We've just talked about wasting money by having DP salaries on the bench. You can't waste that on a goalkeeper that is going to make mistakes, because every goalkeeper makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And I have faith in Spencer Ritchie to do well. And as Jake Gleeson said there, Marinovic is a good keeper, but he spoke very highly of the non-Kiwi, Spencer Ritchie, from what he's seen so far. So that says a lot.
Well, Stefan's ahead of Gleeson in the pecking order for
now, because Gleeson turned down an invite, I think, last year, and it kind of got him knocked off the number one position.
Well, that was foolish.
No, because he concentrates on club soccer, which for me is way more important.
I don't think he's made any foolish mistakes in the last little bit.
But although I feel club soccer is important, after the break we're going to talk about some Canadian national team soccer. Welcome back. It's After Midnight with the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio.
I understand the voice, but I don't get the position you're in there.
I don't get the voice.
I don't get the position. The hands on top of the head.
Well, thankfully there is no cameras in the studio, which is a shame because you're missing some fantastic T-shirts and tops that we're wearing.
I tweeted them out.
So check Twitter, you'll see that. Steve is wearing a hippie Darth Vader.
No, it's what's it called? The sugar...
Oh, yes, it's like the voodoo sugar tattoo stuff.
But Darth Vader.
And Zach's wearing something that looks familiar.
Come on.
And I can't remember what it is.
Give me a break.
What is that again?
Is it Minecraft?
Oh.
Lego. Something to do with Lego.
No. Oh, man. It's the shield from the city of Vancouver flag. You're awful.
Oh, talking about the shield... Do you think there could be a Shield reunion, Steve?
I don't know. I didn't watch Batman.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to talk about the supporter shield for a moment.
And of course, I am wearing East Fife playing black and gold. So I am wearing our very famous black and orange top that they came out with in 1996. Promotion winning top, as worn by Stevie the God Archibald.
Nice. Oh, man.
Anyway, I'm sure people don't want to listen about this. I'm sure no one's listening. It's after midnight. Let's talk about Canada.
Yes.
The Gold Cup is over for them.
For them. Not for the team they lost to, though.
Also over for Mexico.
Yes, not for the team they lost to, though.
No. So, technically, Canada have lost to the Gold Cup winners.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it's going to be.
And I think Jamaica's a two-time finalist now.
Well, I think everyone's hoping
two times in a row.
Yeah, because they did make it the last time.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to hope Jamaica wins this.
Yeah. Let's talk about Canada.
Yeah.
It was a good tournament.
They maybe exceeded a lot of expectations by getting through their group. But then they were facing a match which I feel many people, myself included, really thought they were going to win.
It felt a lot like this afternoon's match.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think people took them too lightly. I think fans took them too lightly because they saw all the previous results.
Even Daniel Squizzato thought that Canada were favourites.
Yeah. I didn't think they were favorites. I thought it was an even game, basically even odds. It was a coin toss, basically, between the two. Because Jamaica's shown that they're a very athletic team. And if they play a little organized, they can be a pretty decent team out there. The problem is that sometimes they're not organized and sometimes they're running all over the place and they get caught out. But as it shows against Canada and against Mexico, they played an organized game, especially for Canada when they were up 2-0.
Yeah, the center back pairing for Canada
that was the problem.
Yeah, Jakovic, who I really appreciate, and Victoria. Victoria was too slow.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the two paired together was the issue.
Yes,
I think there needed to be like a James in there, especially against Jamaica, because he's more athletic. He might not be the most technical center back, but he is.
And he's a little bit faster than them.
Yeah, and a guy, I know, Michael, you don't rate him, but Daniel Henry, if he was healthy...
Yeah,
he's played 9 competitive games since 2014.
Because he's been injured. Out for a year.
He's been injured. Yeah.
But I know you don't rate him. That's why I said that earlier. But I think he could have helped if he was healthy. And obviously David Edgar was missing too. So if you think of it, Jakovic was, I personally think, a fifth choice overall. Remember we were talking about going into the World Cup? We were thinking Straith might be a center back in there.
Well, he was there. He didn't see the pitch.
He didn't see the pitch at all.
I did feel it
Or
was a
did he
bit
in
of a
the group
strange
stage?
lineup
No, he didn't play.
for that game.
Yeah.
It just seemed weird. Tybert playing, Bernier not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was happy for Rusty.
Bringing Laren back in, did that upset the chemistry a little bit?
That was awful. Yeah. Like
I didn't agree with that.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I didn't agree with Kyle Laren. Like it would be fine if the dude didn't have this other stuff going on. I think that would be less upsetting. But even the way they've set this tournament up, and really they've allowed these teams to abuse this rule. This rule was, I think, originally meant to be if you have some players injured and you need to.
Yeah, totally.
And
It wasn't for this nonsense.
And now they've turned it into it's a farce, especially when you consider it's the Continental Championship. It's like play the group stage and then bring in your ringers for the second, or bring in your better players for the. It's really bad, and so I would have much rather seen Cavallini start that game.
And the thing is, Canada got beaten by two really great goals.
And all three goals in the match were fantastic.
The first one, obviously, there was a little mix-up with Vittoria. He didn't. It was a bad touch, and they were able to get it through. And then in the second one, Jakovic gave up way too much room. He should have closed down a little bit more. Both goals, you're hoping Maddox was the one that was trying to finish on those. Because maybe they would have missed the net completely. But Darren did have that chance where he had his hands on his head after 15 minutes. Yeah, when he was,
that made my day.
And that was the same position where Davey scored, like where Davey's nutmegged the goalkeeper, and Darren just put it right into him, and he was able to save it. So it was kind of interesting to see that finish there.
Yeah.
So that is the Flash Top 5, something we did last week. Now I got some audio for it. Your guys' opinion on this? Flash Top 5 best performers for Canada.
Wait, he's got a notepad.
I like the girl that works with Arrow that's sometimes in the Flash.
Oh, that's not a bad call. But, okay, so top 5 performers for Canada. Number 5, Junior Hoylett. Number 4, Milian Borjan. Number 3, Sam Piet. Number 2, Alphonso Davies. And number 1, Scott Arfield. Your guys' thoughts?
I mean,
the Scott won, so Michael, I think, is going to be very happy.
Scott Arfield. Love him.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen you pound your chest like that before.
I hurt. I went a little bit too hard.
Oh man!
So, what do you guys think about that top 5?
I agree with your top 2.
Yeah,
I would maybe have had Borjan as 3.
Okay, but I thought Samuel Piat had really.
I would have had Hoylett in the top 5 at all, but then I don't know who I would have in.
I thought I really like Cavallini. I know he didn't score, but I really like Cavallini.
Yeah, but the thing is, I got this top 5, but when I got down to 4 or 5, it was hard to put. Actually, top 4 was easy for me. The 5th spot was a little harder, and I thought Junior Hoylett. I know he just scored in the last game, and he had a chance to tie the game with that great strike that Andre Blake saved.
Nice save by Blake.
But I thought while he didn't score in the first 3 games, I thought his presence on the pitch really pushed the attack forward. Him and Scott Arfield played well in pushing it together. Arfield obviously got more of the headlines because he assisted on a couple of goals and he scored. But I thought they played really well with Alphonso Davies in that 3.
Strikes like that, like his goal, are what got people excited when he was doing that for Blackburn.
Yeah.
About him possibly playing for Canada. So it's nice to see him do it for Canada, and he needs to do it a little bit more often for Canada. So he's that much of a threat that he distracts, opposing defenses, or he requires defenses to be more aware,
concentrated on him. Yeah. And I think it's funny that the team they lost to was Jamaica, because there was stories that he might be playing for Jamaica. That was one of the teams he was choosing over. So.
Oh, yes, because when he scored the goal, the Jamaican Football Federation tweeted out, a goal for Canada by Junior Hoylett, born in Canada to Jamaican parents.
Yeah. I thought those players played well. Who else did you see that really... I thought Petrasso did well at right back, especially for somebody who... And defensively, he didn't do too badly.
No.
And even the left back position with Marcel and Sam, those 2 guys, they played well. There were not too many guys that were just. I think the main positions that were an issue was striker because it just didn't get goals. While you said Cavallini did play well, Larin even had a few chances. He didn't finish, but you got to let. And center back. Center back was the weakest part, I thought.
Larin,
and that showed in the set pieces goals they allowed all the time.
If we're going to talk about Larin and the chances he had, he should have buried that header.
Yeah. Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah, he was not great. The other thing...
as has haunted him for the last couple of weeks, just the wrong side.
Yeah. It happens.
Oh, man. I also thought Jackson Hamel, again, didn't score, but he
set one of the goals.
He set up Davies for one of his goals.
Yeah, he showed some good flashes.
My only issue with him was against Costa Rica, he didn't show much at all.
Right.
But I don't feel Alphonso Davies showed much against Jamaica.
Yeah.
Or in the 12 minutes.
I think he might have just got burnt out by then.
Well, if you looked at...
Remember, he is 16.
Well, they also were trying to kick him off the park.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the first two games, and I think we talked about this before in previous podcasts, the first two games where he got the goals, there was moments... or especially early in those games, where he did not look great. Like, he was walking the ball into touch. He was, missing a pass here or there. Like, it took him, like, time to get into the game, which against Costa Rica, when they brought him on, I was just like, I don't think he's going to be able to contribute the way they want him to because he needs to find the rhythm of the game and get involved. But...
What do you guys think of the way they played and the actual tactics and the formation? I thought they played so positively.
It was refreshing.
For once. It was actually entertaining.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
I actually enjoyed watching Canadian games.
And the way Squiz was talking about on Twitter that he even at he said at some minute, 65th minute or 70th minute, he still wasn't like distraught or concerned or anything like that. I'm paraphrasing. Because of the way they were playing, because of the way they were pushing the ball forward.
He's now jumped off a bridge, but at that point he was okay.
Yeah.
No, it was like you had people who don't enjoy football enjoying the game against Jamaica, especially. No, I like the way they played a lot. And another, you talk about Sam Piet. I know there's lots of people who are like, oh, why don't we just bring Sam Piet here and then he'll be our new Matthias Laba
because he's French and he'll play for the Impact.
Or he'll just be happy playing in Spain.
He'd be cheaper than Matthias Laba.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Yeah. Now,
but he's playing in Spain right now. Sorry to interrupt you.
Second division. Segunda Liga.
We got an email during the week from Randy Dubbert. And he was talking about... Yeah, long-time listener. Chat back and forward. He said, with the Gold Cup and Canada's strong showing so far, he hopes that there's interest amongst players... especially someone like Tabla in Montreal, to play for Canada.
Yeah.
Tabla aside, is there any other players out there that you feel we should be courting just now? After the success of the likes of Hoylett and Arfield and Piet and Cavallini, is there anyone apart from Tabla that kind of jumps out that we should be kind of courting?
There is one player. He's an Italian, and his dad has a Canadian passport, and I think he has a Canadian passport. Brian Crisante or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I think he went up to the AC Milan formation. I think he's a midfielder, defensive midfielder, in fact.
What is the AC Milan formation? Did you say he went?
AC Milan like through their training program.
Okay.
That's what I meant. Sorry,
through their youth system.
Yeah, through the youth system.
Right.
And I think he's a defensive midfielder. I'm just looking him up right here. Oh, so he's 22. He is with Benfica. He was sold to Benfica, and he's on loan back in Syria with Atalanta. So that's who that's maybe a player that they could, because at 22, if you're not on the radar at this point, you probably, because you know the Italian national team, there's a lot of competition every year. There's always an 18, 19-year-old new fresh star that comes up, and right now he's kind of mid-level right now, so maybe that might be somebody that they bring in, because he would bring a lot of class to that midfield.
We're in the final part of this week's show. We've been a bit all over the place. I know it's been a rough
day.
Try and cheer us up.
It's a hot and rough day today.
Yeah,
it's warm
with
in
bad
here.
results.
So, this episode of the AFTN Soccer Show is brought to you in partnership with bcsoccerweb.com, your one-stop site for local, national and international news and links.
And new segment brought to you by them, is going to be headlines, where we find headlines from the site. We're not going to look for the typical headline that everybody's looking for. We're trying to look for something a little off the radar, whatever you want to say. Offbeat. First headline: unpaid Italian coaches forced out of Trinidad as questions mount over TTFA monies. So this is a story about the women's Trinidad and Tobago soccer team and their coaches being unpaid for 3 months. The coach in question, Carolina Morachi.
I knew. Yeah.
And they basically left. They canceled the contract, saying that the Trinidad and Tobago basic football association is out of breach or whatever, and they're suing now for $600,000 for back pay. The guy who is basically in charge, David John Williams, was somebody who was backed by Victor Montagliani to be the Caribbean football head.
Yeah, I think the G is silent in Montagliani.
And I also think it's Caribbean.
Is it Caribbean? Oh, what did I say?
Caribbean, like some American.
Okay. Well, I was born in Canada. So, next headline. Afghanistan's unlikely football league.
Wait, are we not going to talk about that one?
I'm giving all the headlines and you talk about everybody you want. I give Afghanistan's unlikely football league. 8 teams, 18 matches, 1 city. So this is just basically a big piece on. It was from The Guardian about this one that football's kind of been outlawed. It was outlawed by the Taliban, so they had to really play sneakily and everything like that. But now that they're able to do it, they play basically for 3 months. It's a 3-month league. They play all in one city, and it's 18, like I said, 18 matches. It's something. It's kind of a feel good story. And I think, Michael, you read that, so you can talk a little bit about it.
I actually read that one, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, Afghanistan...
Wait, I thought we were hearing all the headlines before we talk about it.
Yeah, we are. But, okay, so next headline. Hooligans take over Nigerian women football. This is a really rough story where a goalkeeper for an opposing team was attacked by the supporters of another team. Things were thrown at her, and basically the game was abandoned. Rough one there. Another one, DAZN, or ZN, as they say in Canada, streaming services launches in Canada. Now, this is a story where in Canada itself, it's no big deal because right now it's just NFL. But in Germany, this same company is streaming English Premier League, La Liga, some other leagues, and they will be doing Champions League next year. And they'll basically have the streaming rights. And does that mean that possibly when it expires here in Canada that they'll bring those streaming rights here and something that people can look forward to? Final headline. Barry Goodwin had been playing soccer for 74 years. Not much of a headline there. But the story is it's an 80-year-old player who's played in the U35 league, like for the longest time, obviously, because he's 80, U35.
U35?
Oh, sorry, over 35. Long night. Over 35 league, and he's been playing for 74 years, and he finally retired due to a little bit of arthritis in his knee. No major injuries, no other issues, major issues, just a little arthritis, and he decided to call it quits.
So this
is he calling it quits a little too early just because can't he work through this arthritis?
I mean, look at John Thorrington.
And this is a guy from Sarnia, by the way. Sarnia FC's
Is this what it's come to, Michael? Is this the first and last time we do this segment, or is this like...
No,
okay.
it's a new segment. The Kinks got to work out the kinks.
We have to work out the kinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, your guys' thoughts, what do you guys want to talk about are those things?
I want to talk about... the only story
I'm going to be shutting off Zach's mic while he's having...
The Afghanistan Football League.
Yeah.
It's good to see the game back there. Another country like Syria, who's been bombarded, as everyone knows, with the news the last couple of years, but they've done really well with their World Cup qualifying and Asia qualifying. So it's good to see these countries getting the sport back and get some normality back to their lives.
No, I 100% agree with that. The thing that interests me is the Morachi story, because she seems to always run into these kind of things.
I don't know much about her. I have heard some stuff.
Yeah.
She was kind of before my time.
Yeah. Zach, have you heard anything?
Yeah, I know the players didn't enjoy playing for her
Yeah.
when she was here in Canada.
She kind of brought the team to a level, but then it kind of kaputted it for the thing is about this is the money was actually coming from CONCACAF. And so what CONCACAF was doing, but the money wasn't coming in time. CONCACAF wanted to pay the coaches directly because they were concerned that the money wasn't going to go to the coaches.
Yeah.
So that was the big story about that, and it's a crazy story.
Yeah, they're trying to cut corruption out of football, obviously in these last couple of years. But yeah, there are federations where everyone knows they're corrupt and they don't do things the way they should be done, and it's unfortunate. And I'm kind of surprised that Marachi would go to a place with that kind of reputation.
And of course, that was some headlines from bcsoccerweb.com. One of the biggest headlines over the last couple of days was made in MLS by RSL head coach Mike Petke, who went on an epic rant after his team's recent game and being kicked off from the sidelines. And we actually have that for you now. So if you haven't heard this, we'll play it for you and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Cameras rolling? You have your radio recording devices on? Get them on. This is all I'm going to say about what happened with me tonight. It's all I'm going to say about anything that happened yesterday with Kyle. So no questions about that. It's going to be met with, after this, no comment, okay? Here's why I got ejected tonight, and it's on me. I apologize to my players already. I apologize to my boss, who's standing back there, Craig. I'm going to apologize to my owner, and I apologize to the fans right now, okay? But I could have released this. I could have went on Twitter. I could have done whatever. And here you go. Trey, hand them out. When Kyle Beckerman gets fined in a run-up play for literally extending his arm, yet the last game that Kansas City played, this picture, this happened with their number 6, Sanchez, who is a great player, valuable player for them, with his hand around the throat of a player from Philadelphia, with the referee looking straight there. Look at his eyes, straight there. And then the whatever committee it is that could review this sees all this. Nothing has happened. Kyle Beckerman is suspended for extending his arm while the player is coming away from our goal and Kyle's running towards our goal. No goal scoring threat. That's one. Why I got a red card tonight, or I don't think they do red cards for players. Do they, Craig? They just eject you. Why I got ejected tonight. This is the play right here. Pass these out, Trey. We have a player put through on a breakaway. Could have been a breakaway. You see the still frame right here of him in a headlock. In a freaking headlock. Nothing is called. And then the ball goes back the other way, and there's whatever foul it was on Tony Beltran or Luke, or I don't even know at this point. There's a foul called, put them in a goal-scoring opportunity for a free kick. Okay? I am who I am. I've apologized to my players. I've apologized to my boss again. I've apologized to the fans. I cannot, if I do not act the way I do, I can't sleep the next 4 weeks. Okay? I have players here that over the last couple of games have given me everything, have bought in everything. Okay? Tonight, they've given me everything. The one thing I'll say about tonight is that we were a bit sluggish. And perhaps we were a bit sluggish because of the work that we put in over our last 2 league wins and the 10, 12 days that I had with them. That's on me. These guys have given me everything. I'm not going to answer why I got ejected, but look at these 2 pictures. I have 2 more that the freaking printer didn't work, so I couldn't print it up. But I'll get you those slides as well, okay? Okay, now I'm good. Now I'm good.
He's definitely good.
That was fantastic. I think more coaches should go to post-game press conferences with slides. That would just make them a lot more interesting.
It'll help the fans too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Visual aids help.
Like Mike Petke has been a part of MLS for I don't know since the I don't know if he was here or he was there at the beginning, but if he's surprised at poor officiating, still.
Yeah. I mean, his team came away with a 1-1 draw against Sporting KC, so if they'd lost I would have loved to have seen what that would have been like.
Yeah, but VAR is coming August 5th.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out the YouTube chat from Howard Webb about that, then
you missed something.
Yeah, it was good. Watch it. But things need to change with refereeing. Hopefully VAR will do that. But just wanted to give a hat tip to Mike Petke. That was tremendous.
Great promo.
More managers need to just say it as it is and just call out the refs.
And I think they need to lay off on the fines off coaches, because fans can see what the referees are
Robbo
doing.
didn't get fined the last time he went on his big rant.
Because that was justified.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Like MLS, all they really care about is perception, right? And what most of their clubs care about is perception. That's why their clubs will fine their players for saying things they don't want them to, right? That's why they'll fine coaches when they say things they don't like.
But the thing is, these kind of rants, these will get on mainstream sports shows, and this is a good marketing tool. So maybe use it as marketing instead of worrying about perception, because everybody knows who watches the game that your referees suck.
I'll tell you something that doesn't suck is our Wavelength section of the show, and it's time for that now. And I'm not going to do a big intro this week because I want you to try and guess who this is. So that's all I'll say. This is a rap song from 2006 by a footballer called Don't Tread.
In the beginning, we were those kids that played on the dirt fields. But with determination, we came from the bottom and rose to the top. We chased and grabbed a hold of our dreams. Now we play on the fields where the grass is green. And we can tell from the looks on their face, when they find out what the dream is we chased, they hate. But we as a team have a phrase we say when negativity comes our way: don't tread on this.
Game took hold like the roots of a tree. Think soccer ain't a sport, then why not sign me? Cause I got on my job and made the game ferocious. I was born with the drive, I got that from no coaches. Big Hulk and Deuce, spitting truth in the booth. Stop, drop, and roll, I brings down the roof. Got nothing to lose and everything to prove. Don't change the mood, cause we done paid our dues. Best to get away for the USA. Now we're hot, you might think we a sun ray. In over your head, Southside, we fed. This is life and I'm grinding till I'm dead. Think the DJ Scoop. This ain't Friday Night Lights, but I got the infrared, yeah. And you already know, Baker's on the shoot. You how to hit the deal and Big Hulk came through. Everybody out your seat, ball your hands to this. Real recognize real. We was spread for this. Don't tread on this. Don't tread on this. Everybody out your seat, ball your head to this. Real recognize real. We was spread for this. Don't tread on this. Don't tread on this. See, I'ma just do it like Nike. Spit it so nice that when I'm done, some ain't gon' like me. I'ma try to say it politely, so it is like I might come across a tad bit feisty. Check my resume and see what I've done. I'm official like a chick on my AF1. From the slum, raised off nothing but crumbs. I don't want none, and look what I become. I'ma just keep it real, and my brother's ghetto dream will be fulfilled. And on the field, who's gon' show his skills? Wheel and deal for real, and snow and feel. My balls are real, homeboy, please don't tempt me, or I'll cross you over like the great Clint Dempsey. The grind is in there, please don't tread on this. This is stop and rap with a screwed up twist. Everybody out your seat, ball your head to this. Real recognize real. We was spread for this. Don't tread on this. Don't tread on this. Everybody out your seat, ball your head to this. Real recognize real. We was spread for this. Don't tread on this. Don't tread on this. Don't wake a sleeping giant unless you wanna see him piss. Though I'm quick with my feet, you ain't seen the fist. It be a one-hitter quitter, then class dismissed. Best to think twice before you try and tread on this. Game's hard in the streets, kids with no shoes on their feet. Winning satisfies hunger, they don't need to eat. Yeah, we came here to learn, but we starting to teach. Cause we stood in the shadows, now you can see. Haters wanna hate, but man, I'm feeling great. Thanks to soccer, I'm around more ice than a hockey skate. skate. More cash is in the bank, no need for y'all to rake. I done cut the yard and threw the trash away. In the south, we got the game on lock. More games than a Gamecock. In Texas, we bleed block, straight close up shop. Don't get it twisted. You stacking on wealth. You think we trippin'? Check the stats yourself. Everybody not just see. Bob your head to this. Real recognize real. We was praying for this. Don't dread on this. We live and dream. Don't dread on this. Everybody not just see. Bob your head to this. Real recognize real. We was praying for this. Don't dread on this. We live and dream. Don't dread on this.
Don't Tread on This by Deuce, featuring Big Hawk and XO on the AFTN Soccer Show.
Oh, man.
Yo.
You and your flounder love. We're going to get the security. There's a camera in the studio we just discovered.
I didn't realize that.
It's a security camera. We're going to get the footage and release that of you and your Deuce love.
Look, that is a quality song. And you keep saying I need to get more. I love that. If anyone hasn't guessed, that was Clint Dempsey. Zach actually guessed it. And so did Chris Harrop at Chris Harrop GK on Twitter. I like that. You want me to get more with the kids down with the...
No, whoa.
We have to appeal to all these students that are listening to us
you have been complaining the songs are really old and everything. Like they're from the 90s and the 80s.
Yeah.
This song was 11 years old. This is not...
We have students in their dorm rooms right now looking at their Whitecaps posters on the wall, listening to our voices, putting them to sleep on a Monday morning. And we just want to get down and speak to those. And
it's summer, dude. It's summer, dude. There's no students here.
Oh, there's some classes.
Look, I have my dreams.
This is kids playing basketball. How to get out?
Anyway, talking to Chris Harp, he also sent a couple of other tweets.
About the players?
About the players, yeah. One player who he feels that Canada could look at is Tomori Fikayo.
Yeah. He
should look at that name again.
He played for Canada in the friendly against their U19 team or U20 team where they won.
England.
Canada won.
Yeah,
Canada beat England. Yes, yeah. But then he switched and played for their U19, the one that won the championship or something like that. I can't remember the Europe championship. So it's I don't know if he can switch back or not. I don't know what the rules are there. He's played for Canada. He's played for England, but it's not official.
Switch once. But as long as it hasn't been senior caps.
Okay, senior cap, okay.
Another possible Canadian player that Chris mentions is Ferdi Kadioglu, who is a Dutch-Canadian kid currently being touted by Ajax. He's worth capping. He's been a starter in Eredivisie last year.
Good.
Chris, what are you doing up so late, man?
Tweeting the show. Everyone should listen to this live, because most of this will get cut out.
Yeah, basically.
This is going to be a 20-minute podcast when it goes out on Monday. But we are nearly finished. Unless, do you want to hear some more rap songs by Clint Dempsey?
I don't think there are anymore.
I hope not.
Oh.
Next time Seattle's up here, I'm actually going to speak to him about that. Now, just before we go, I know Zach has a couple of props that he wants to give to some good things that happened.
It's good that you're keeping the lingo of the young people there, Michael. The props. Yeah, it's nice. No, I just wanted to give a lot of respect and appreciation to the Vancouver Southsiders for their visual display of support before today's match. The Rising to New Heights display. If you didn't see it, it's on social media. Go check it out.
Sadly, the team sank to new depths.
Yeah, that was
my headline on AFTN.
That was unfortunate.
Match report.
But we're 6.5 years into MLS, and supporters have been asking since the move to BC Place to be able to do some type of rigging. And the thing that was impressive that the Southside did tonight was they finally did something via rigging.
And it worked well.
And it came off very well. So
if you haven't seen the TIFO, you can go on the AFTN Twitter because I shot a video of it, so I tweeted it out before the game.
Yeah, so go check that out. Nice display. Nice to see a new deployment technique. So respect to the Vancouver Southsiders, especially Darcy Kerr, who's kind of oversees that part of their group, and of course Peter, the president, and the monsters on the board, and their whole board, and their whole group of volunteers who put a lot of time and energy to get that ready. And I'm forgetting the dude's name, but the rigging dude.
A lot of dudes.
Clarence?
No.
Clint?
Darcy's not a dude. Darcy's
No, you keep saying dude.
Oh, sorry. The guy who organized the rigging for them. He's an awesome guy who's been trying to help them get it going for a long time. No, it's not. No,
See, if I'd known, we could have finished with Sex Pistols friggin' in the rigging.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. I'll do that in the podcast. We'll end with Sex Pistols.
I want to give a props to War of the Planet of the Apes. Great movie.
Big fan of Planet of the Apes. Got lots of the comic books. Loved the original movies.
This last movie is fantastic, and because you got apes on horses with guns, and that's all you need.
Can't beat some monkey magic.
Chris Harrop says that he's up playing Football Manager, trying to find ways to fix the mess that this club, that is this club. I think he's referring to the Whitecaps.
Chris, you need sleep.
So he's young. He can't even read tweets.
Because that could take forever.
Yeah. So just before we go, let everyone know where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
For me, it's at Zachary AM, and I'm part of the movement Curva Collective.
I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada, on Instagram at AFTN Soccer. I'm down with the kids and on WhatsApp and Twatface and all those things, so find us on that as well. And you can read all our stuff, AFTN, away from the numbers, aftn.ca. Also the Whitecaps beat reporter for MLSsoccer.com.
Yeah, you could twat him at that.
Please stop using that term.
Twatface is an actual... Google Twatface right now.
Yeah, I know.
Google it.
Google, go on.
No, thank you.
Everyone,
I'm
Google
good.
Twatface.
I'm good. Please stop.
Okay, don't Google Twatface.
Stop saying it.
Okay. When you do, it just comes up with a giant picture of Caleb Porter. Anyway, that is it for this episode of the show. Thanks for listening to our last ever AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio. Until next week, if there is a next week, thanks for listening. Take care, and mon the Caps.
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.